welcome to Bitstall, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Ben Slinger, and with me, as always, is Trevor Scott.
Hello.
Hello. So, Trevor, I thought this week, as we sometimes do, we'd take a break from improvising video game ideas.
Yes.
And instead would have a little bit of a talk, a bit of a chat, a bit of a discussion about some of the games we've been playing. Particularly some of the more dark webbier games that we tend to come across.
So you don't want me to say Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom?
No.
Nor Fortnite?
Nor Fortnite,
okay.
No.
What about...
I'm thinking some of the more obscure...
What about Castle Week?
Castle Week?
Yes.
Don't know that one. Do you want to, is it something you've been playing? Do you want to...
So Castle Week is
Castle Week is
a game where you don't build. No, you it's all catapults, and you're trying to take down a castle, and you've got about 7 days to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've been playing the Legend of the Welder Tits of the Kingdom.
Yes, this is why we don't just come up with these things on the spot, because we're horrible at it.
Yeah, we're really bad at improvising. So we'll just give our honest opinion of some games we've been playing.
Exactly. Do you want to go first?
Sure. I've been playing a little game called Super Sexy Business Pinball.
Yes, I love this game. It's so cool. It's super sexy. Like,
it's super sexy in a non-sexual way.
Exactly.
It's sexy in the way I think they've just
it's
sort of
sexy
used it
as Chrome always is. Chrome is just the sexiest.
Well, that exactly.
Yeah, the ball is just
yeah. It's kind of like they've used it as a prefix, kind of like hyper, Super Street Fighter, hyper mode or whatever. Yeah. This is Super Sexy Business Pinball.
Yeah. Because what's sexier than business?
Well, that's it.
It's business.
It's business time. Gonna play pinball because it's business time. So, yeah, what I love, it is a pinball game, but it's sort of one of these, like, endless pinball tables.
Yep.
Where as you go up, you're being promoted. You're being promoted up in this company, and you are having to, at each level, hit the right things in that particular area to complete your job requirements.
Yeah. I really, really like the doing the taxes mini game. That was really cool. Making sure that payroll was completed.
That's it. And I love the metaphors that they bring in for as you get overworked, like you hit a multi-ball and then you're juggling so many different things at once, and
you burn out. Like, that's literally what they call it. When you drop all the balls, you burn out. Like,
it's burnout, and you have to take some time off, and
and that drops your balance of your, like, because you don't have lives in this game. You've got annual leave balance.
Oh, annual leave balance. Well, and money. Like, they use essentially your your salary, and as you drop a ball, as you lose a ball down the center, that's essentially you passing time without working. Like, that's you spending money. You spend the money then, and you go home, and they've got some fun little animations with your ball going home to your little Chrome ball family, and making dinner and doing different things. Which is where some of the customization comes in. I love all the little suits and stuff that they've got for your ball, all the different, variations to dress up your ball.
Yeah.
Which is just cool.
One of the things I found quite interesting is the longer the day goes, the further the space seems to actually be where the ball can actually fall down.
Yes.
Because the paddles are obviously, you're burning the candle at both ends, as it were, and you're overworking.
It. Again, a metaphor for working too late. You're getting too tired. You're going to make more mistakes. You need to go home. You need to stop. So it does make it harder to keep that ball in play, as it were.
The great thing is, like, if you finish your tasks for the day, like, you can hit that final switch, and then that's where the lights get turned off on the machine, and you get to go home without losing another life.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
not
it.
life, sorry. Losing your annual leave balance because they take it off.
Well, yes, exactly. Yeah. You haven't burned out. You've just done your job efficiently.
Yeah.
And the more times you can do that, the more likely you are to ascend to the next, level of management, essentially. And the goal, of course, becoming to be the CEO of this whole company,
where it literally becomes easy mode, and you just got this massive flipper. It's just one flipper, and it covers the whole
just
bottom.
One flipper that covers the whole bottom. That's it.
Flicks up everywhere.
It just bangs you into the money bumpers.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. So you can choose to use your money as you get higher and higher. Your excess money.
Yeah, to extend the length of the flippers.
Extend the bumpers and make extend the flippers, make the other bumpers give you more money, because you've got more capital there to, invest and make more.
I found it really cool that you could actually choose in the middle. Like if you did certain
loops and things,
and stuff like that, you could actually move on to a different table where you decided to start your own business. So you start with a very bland table, but you can gradually build it up.
Table. Well, that's actually an interesting mode because instead of just immediately going up the ranks in promotion, it's more about building up your table.
Yeah,
and so it is very essentially the first day there's just flippers and one tiny little bumper at the top to output a little bit of money. But then you can invest that money back into the business to put additional bumpers and loops and combos and things on your table, and you have building the table up over time.
They actually gave a good reason to have a creative mode in this, and it was part of the normal game.
Yeah, it was actually a branching choice that you can make to find the creative mode. Yeah, I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah. I really, really loved this game. I thought it was so super cool.
I thought it was a really great idea.
Yeah.
It's always nice to add sort of a narrative spin almost to pinball. You wouldn't think it is always possible, but it's good. It would be good on a handheld because you can use your
the bumpers on the back,
the bumpers for actual your
bumpers,
flippers. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Cantankerous Booty of Love.
Okay. We definitely do.
Yeah,
we definitely do.
So this is how do we put this nicely? It's a love game about pirates, and a cantankerous sort of pirate looking for love in all the wrong places because
on all the wrong
desert islands.
Yeah. Yeah. Essentially, I love how. Yeah, the guys that they put it under of you keep rescuing people from desert islands, hoping to find
the one,
hoping to find your love match.
And I know that it was, all the way through they were sort of hinting at it, but for your first mate to actually literally be, and I know this is spoiling it, but it's just such a lovely story. The fact that your first mate actually ends up being your first mate.
Your first mate, yeah.
Your one and only.
You learn so much along the way, though.
Oh, yeah.
Meeting all these different people and going on dates, plundering ships and visiting taverns and...
And that section in the middle where, the first mate leaves to captain their own ship and you realize that's when you're literally just going through the motions, helping these people. You see a volleyball floating in the sea and you just don't give a shit.
You don't even rescue it.
And then you find that treasure map, and it's literally a treasure map that the first mate has left. Yeah. And it's leading to the first ever island that you plundered and
romantic.
Hid your treasure together. And yeah, it's just a really lovely story. I thoroughly enjoyed this, and especially because you could see that they've sort of taken that sailing sort of stuff from Dredge, where it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like you have to be doing too much, hoisting the mainsail and all this sort of stuff. You can just focus more on the actual story and the conversations that you're having. And
yeah, well, that's it. And the way that they entwined like the conversations and the sort of the dates that you were having with these people with the travel time, you know, you had something to do with your hands. You're guiding your ship through, you know, across the waters and navigating to the next place
through reefs.
But it's not, but it's not so arduous a task that it distracts you from the conversation that's going on.
Yeah, and the real interesting stuff of when you get there and you got to, you know, decode the treasure map, which says, you know, look for these certain landmarks and that sort of stuff. And the fact that it goes from, you know, that sort of up and away view to stay there when you get off. It just goes in a little bit, but you still got that sort of
that you're viewing it from above,
looking down view, third person, but you know, quite high.
Yeah,
feels very much like a Zelda-y sort of view, like original Zelda.
I was trying to think of something to compare it to. That's probably fairly close.
Yeah. But didn't feel grid-like. It didn't feel grid-like like Zelda does.
No.
Like those earlier 2D Zeldas did.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, it was a cute little story. It was great.
Yeah. 4 or 5 hours. Yeah, good fun. Didn't ever say it's welcome.
For sure. So my next game that I want to talk about is Tropical Limbo Universe. So someone has finally made a decent game about Limbo.
Yeah. Who would have thought that VR and Limbo could actually work well together?
I mean, it's interesting. You wouldn't think to try it, but when you actually think about it, it makes so much sense.
You literally have to limbo.
So much of it is about your head position.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that they require you to sort of strap the sensors to your feet so that they can measure the distance between your so they can measure the distance between your feet and your head, which is obviously
genius.
The most sort of important thing. It does mean they can't tell if you're cheating by putting your hands on the ground, but I guess that's just sort of the trade-off they had to make.
Yeah, I'd take that any day of the week if you can. You know, do that amazing limbo goodness of.
That's it. And, you know, you're only cheating yourself, right? Like, you know if you've cheated to put your hands on the ground to get a good high score. But you can't cheat. You can't, you know, the game knows that your head is that much further back and the angle between your feet and your head is correct for the game to make sense and get under that. Now you can cheat it. You can cheat it by if you wear your headset backwards. I think some people saw, because then you're essentially bending your knees the other way, which is a lot easier.
But you can't see. That's the problem.
But then it's very difficult to see. You don't really You don't really experience the game as it's supposed to be experienced.
With visuals and all those sort of things.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So yes, I mean, what I loved about this was just they drop you on this amazing tropical island. Like, the environment work is just fantastic.
Yeah.
It really just feels like a party. Feels like a party going on. And when they get, you know, then they're like, all right, the Limbo competition's starting, and you just want to join in. And
you can tell that they took a lot of that earlier VR sort of stuff, that Job Simulator and Vacation Simulator, that team, what they managed to do with it in the simplified, you know, the simplified models and all this sort of stuff in 3D, but just having it all about the gameplay and all about doing what you do best, which is limboing everywhere.
Well, that's it. I love that, you know, obviously you have the Limbo contest that sort of kicks it all off.
Yep.
It's basically the tutorial to the game, but then you have all these different things around the island where, your main mechanism for interacting with them is Limbo.
I mean,
you have to Limbo to get places.
How else are you going to get underneath that garage door that opened only halfway?
Yeah, it's broken. You got to get in there and fix it. That's one of the tasks.
Yeah.
You know, you get to your job where you're working behind a counter and you have to Limbo under the counter to get in there.
How else are you going to do it? You don't have any arms.
Well, that's it, because the things are strapped to your legs, and you are, you know, this is a world where nobody has arms, so
don't need them. Literally don't. You do everything with your feet.
Yeah. I like then that they brought in some of the non-Limbo gameplay in here, which is around like
serving coffee,
kicking things, like having to sort of do little soccer dribbling moves to kick it back and forth and keep it going as you like pour it and drop the sugar in and then kick it over to the customer.
Yeah.
So and this is really where the universe comes in, right? Like, yes, it's a Limbo game. Yes, there's a lot of Limbo in it, but it's more than just
a Limbo game.
Than just a Limbo contest,
In fact, there is that accessibility mode where you don't even have to do the Limbo parts. You can just, do what you're capable of. Like,
it auto limbos for you, and
you can just experience the story. Like, everyone should be able to experience the story.
Everyone wants to be able to experience it. Not everyone is flexible enough. I mean, I had to turn that on for some of the later levels.
Yeah, I mean, I swear, you literally had to be Hermes Conrad to be able to do some of those.
That's it.
Those Limbo moves, like under the fridge. Oh my god!
No, that was a bit rough. But I mean, there are people out there who manage it. I don't know how. Search for Tropical Limbo Universe hard mode videos. You'll see some incredible contortionists out there who have managed to beat this game without turning on the accessibility modes, and it's weird to watch.
Oh, it's so
it doesn't seem physically possible, but
and the fact that they actually did it with full camera on a green screen and all this sort of stuff, so you could see them actually in the game and all this sort of stuff.
Oh yeah,
really well done.
Yeah.
I'll go again. Nice, fun, light one. Magic Quantum Island.
Oh, yeah. That was an interesting... I like the way that they kind of mixed the magic and science, technobabble in this one.
Yeah. And when you start realizing that as you're moving certain things over on this side of the island, it's changing on the other side because they're quantumly entangled and so solving a puzzle on this side has basically fucked up the puzzle on the other side because...
Yes. And one thing that did bug me about this is that sometimes those puzzles were so far apart and you had to like move all the way over there to even realize what you'd done.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you could only access it from that one... You couldn't quite reach it because it was up too high and therefore you had to go back.
All the way back.
Move it just a little bit and then bring it down so now you can grab it. But turns out that if you got... it only worked that way for a small amount of time if you found the video camera that you could set up as sort of like a drone saying... hover about here and you see where it's actually at, and then you see that you've actually put things into the right position.
Yeah, they obviously knew that it was a problem. I mean, I just feel like they kind of brought it in a little bit too late. Like they should have given you that a bit earlier, but that did definitely help. You still had to, when there were some puzzles where you had to like move one thing on this side of the island and then move one thing on the other, they still made you run back and forth.
Mm-hmm. But wasn't the island beautiful?
Yes. It was very well made. It was a very well made island. And look, the puzzles, apart from the running around stuff, were really cool.
Yeah. It's just that sometimes it felt like, the 15-minute travel time from one side to the other,
That's it. And
especially if you got sidetracked along the way with all the numerous side quests that you could have.
Yeah, that's right. Where you could unlock the camps, break into the camps and climb up the tower to view more of your island.
Yeah, but the weird thing being that you broke the camp on one side of the island and had to go to the other one because that opened the tower on the other side.
Because it opened the door. Exactly. Yeah. So even then you had all that travel time. But you're right. The island looked good. They did give you some vehicles later on. It's a shame. It was a shame it was mostly unpowered vehicles.
Yes.
The skateboard really didn't work through like jungle island. The BMX bike was a little bit better, obviously.
The mountain bike was a lot better because
as long as
the tires stay pumped up.
And as long as the paths were relatively
free
clear,
of detritus and snakes and
exactly.
Did you actually finish it in the end?
Nah, look, I unlocked the grappling hook.
Yep.
That you actually had to like swing and aim, I don't know why they didn't sort of just make it a fire out of a gun grappling hook.
That
swing it and
came later.
Release it at the right time. Ah, see, okay. Again, I just feel like they really wanted to make you.
They introduced something
like
that's a little bit harder, and then they give you the easy mode. Hard mode,
Yeah.
easy mode. Hard mode, easy mode. Yep.
No, well, it was in between there then. It was in between getting the swing grapple that you had to release at the exact right time and hope it hooked onto something.
Yeah.
And I guess it sounds like the actual grapple gun.
So, you know that map-like thing that you were given right at the very start? Did you complete that?
Yeah.
Or...
No. I mean,
Okay.
I saw like it would add the different landmarks on there and sort of would color code them.
When you get to the very end, you realize, holy shit, the whole map is just a massive Sudoku.
Okay.
So that's why there were
That
like
makes sense
9
with the
landmarks
grids
here and then 9 landmarks here. It's like, it was literally just
They
Sudoku.
really clustered them.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you have to complete like the puzzles in the right
And then everything
way
becomes
to
so much
fill
easier
it.
because you realize, oh, it's mirrored over this axis because of,
the grid
because
of
this 3 down here meant, was a mirror of this 3 up here, and that's how it actually worked. Yep.
Right.
So.
Yeah, look, that makes it. I mean, again, I feel like it's one of these games where they really wanted to make you work for the answers. And look, that's fine. That's fine. I think it just bugs me a little bit for the type of time I like to spend with these games.
Yeah.
So, but that's cool.
Cool. Okay. Ben, what's your next one?
Yeah. Educational theme park dudes.
Nice.
So this I thought was a fun take on the theme park style building management games.
Yeah, but educational, obviously.
Educational. So you had to sort of base your rides off of different school subjects.
Yeah.
Different, literature, different literature.
I mean, really, and teaching life skills for your patrons.
That's it. And it was all about sort of making it that teachers could bring their class to this place and still be teaching the kids something.
Exactly. Like read the fine print when you sign something.
That's right, because you could still, as is the bread and butter of these theme park games, build rides that essentially just kill the riders.
Interesting that they did allow some of the people to sue your theme park, but if you had the clause in there that basically they signed,
Yeah, you had to make sure to get your lawyer.
Yeah.
To hire your lawyer early on and make sure the fine print was good.
I made that mistake. I lost my theme park after putting so many hours in, and I hired Dodgy Brothers lawyer, and I knew $50 was too cheap.
But when you're in the early days of your theme park, you have to have a balance there of saving costs. You can't afford the expensive lawyers. But yeah, so you can still, so you're building roller coasters and they're having, subliminal math problems flashed at them as they, speed past them quickly.
2 + 4.
Yeah, exactly.
7 × 6.
And that one I don't know on the fly.
42.
Yeah, now I'm trying to do it in my head while I'm talking. And of course, teaching them the history, so you've got rides that are based around different historical events. And as I said, you can create like the Great Gatsby ride and different, literature. You've got a Romeo and Juliet ride, which is kind of an interesting one. Yeah, look, I thought it was a little bit of a fun diversion.
Yeah.
And the fact that the goals were not necessarily all around earning money. It was around how educated the patrons are when they leave. Yeah.
Yeah, that was just a good wholesome game with some bloody murder if you really felt like you wanted to go down there.
If you want to go that way,
Yeah.
and at least you know that as the customers fall off the top of that roller coaster that ends in the middle of space, they know exactly how fast they're accelerating.
Yep.
To Earth because you taught them on the way.
Exactly. It's all about the journey and what you learned along the way.
That's it.
Talking about things in space.
Yeah.
Rocket-powered stick world tour.
Oh, okay. Now this was kind of an expanded game from a smaller game that was released.
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
it?
It's the original game was Stick World Tour, and now it's rocket-powered Stick World Tour.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was like an old Flash game or something, and then they made it into a full-fledged thing.
So the idea was that they had this sport that they'd created that involved a stick, and it was basically you had two teams, each team had a stick, and there was a single ball, and you were knocking it between the two teams, but your team only had one stick. So
right, yeah. So it's not quite like hockey or lacrosse or the other.
Yeah, you had one stick
other
for
games
your
where you
entire
have
team.
Yes, yeah, so it's less around passing the ball between the people
And
with
more
sticks,
about
and more about
passing
passing
the
the stick.
Yep.
Yes, added some interesting strategy in there.
Yeah. So this is
because you can only
taken
touch
to the
the
next
ball
level.
with the stick. Yeah.
So,
Well, they made the stick rocket powered.
Exactly.
Clearly.
So it was easier to send off to someone, but harder to catch.
That's right, and much easier to just put a hole through someone.
Yes. And in fact, that seems to be the meta in the ranked online stuff.
It's putting holes through your enemies.
Yeah,
your
because
opponents.
essentially what happens is they get disabled, kind of like in Rocket League, how when you explode someone, they have a little bit of a timeout before they get to come back in. Well, in this case, that person has to be recloned, and that takes a little bit of time.
It takes a bit of time there, and you've got less players on the field for that time.
Not as efficient as our cloning from a couple of episodes ago, but it's still.
Yeah, they come back just as strong.
What I do like is the fact that you get to the end of some of those ranked games and there's bodies everywhere, because I don't know how they did it with that many ragdolls.
Computers these days, they can handle that sort of thing. I do like how the ragdolling was, I don't know if they just really tweaked the friction and stuff. They were less slidey than you often see, so you would just get them really
clumping together,
chunkily hanging off things, and it made for a real scene of carnage when you finish the game.
Yeah, especially because there
the
were some space levels, so they kind of clumped together and created their own gravitational
their
mass.
own little gravitational pull. Yeah,
which meant for great ideas of how am I going to get the ball into the net over there? Well, if I hit it over here and I get it to sort of accelerate as it comes around,
well, and what I loved were some of the moves that the rocket powered stick really added to the game, because of course you can trigger the rocket and send the stick over to your teammate over the other side of the field, or you can trigger the rocket, hold on to the stick, and propel yourself, or at least the player that you're controlling at that time, as far as they need to go.
Yeah.
Risky, of course.
Very
you
risky.
can get caught up in the backfiring, the flame of it. You can slam yourself into a wall if you accelerate too fast.
You can let go of the stick, and then you've got to go over and get it. If you've sent the stick, I remember seeing one ranked match, and they literally the best dodge I've ever seen of someone about to get the stick, go right through them. They did this massive dodge. And it ended up all the way over the other side. Their stick ended up in their goal, and
it leaves the other team just completely helpless until they can retrieve
and
it.
Running with no goalkeeper. That's just we haven't even talked about the goalkeeper and what the goalkeeper can do yet. Basically, when the goalkeeper gets the stick, it doubles in size. and gets 2 powerful rockets on it.
Yes.
Only till they pass it
Gives
off.
you some amazing kind of rocket-powered spin attacks that you can do to just like deflect the ball as it's coming towards you. And I mean, there's great strategies required that when the other player is heading for your goal, if your stick's up the other end, like you got to fucking aim that thing well to get it to your goalie, or you're fucked.
Yeah. Oh, I really enjoyed it. Shame that there's, it's on the dark web only because, it came up against the same 7 people every single time. But
yeah, there's not a great player base for it. The dark web isn't great for.
They shouldn't have skill-based matchmaking right now. There's just not enough people in there.
No.
It's weird count as well. 7v7.
Yeah. I'm surprised you managed to find another 6 people for your side.
Oh, I had mainly bots. And you.
Oh, okay.
Remember?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, remember Kevin.
Played for a bit.
Kevin was a bot.
What?
Yeah.
Kevin was a bot?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize. That's so funny. Well, the bots are pretty good then.
Yeah. I mean, he had a pretty good conversation for quite a while. Powered by ChatGPT.
I'm surprised that they brought in the AI generated chat. I guess when it's text chat,
no voice chat here. You don't need it.
It's less obvious.
Yeah.
Wow. I have to reevaluate a few things now. I told Kevin, really got along with Kevin.
Didn't you invite him to drinks next week at your place?
Yeah.
And he accepted. That's weird.
I mean, I guess when someone invites you to drinks, you're statistically likely to accept.
I think that's the end of tonight's episode.
That is. Thank you for joining us this week on Bitstorm. If you want to find all of our previous episodes, go to podchaser.com/Bitstorm. Leave us a review. Let us know what dark web games you've been playing recently. Maybe we've missed some.
Yeah.
But make sure you send it as an onion link or whatever.
Yeah. We only use Tor.
Got to be safe. Yeah.
If you like the song that we play at the start and end of each episode, that song is called Meant to Find Some of the album Containment Failure by the band Cantankerous. It can be found on the normal internet, not the dark web, at cantankerous.bandcamp.com, and it's free. Unlike most of the stuff on the dark web, where it costs an arm and a kidney.
These episodes cost us a lot. That's right. So thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott.
Fuck you, Kevin. Lied to me.
ChatGPT, motherfucker.